Hello everyone and welcome back to For Recovery. Today is part 2 of episode Modesty, Keeping Private Things Private. I believe this is episode number 59 and I'm pretty excited about the way that this, the previous part 1, episode 58 has gone, the feedback that I've received, and I mean largely positive and thought-provoking, and so I appreciate this dialogue and conversation we are able to have over this very vital subject. No, it's not everything. It's not the end-all, be-all of what makes a lady a Christian woman, but it is important. If it wasn't important, it wouldn't be in the Bible. And so I just want to thank you for watching and giving me your feedback. Lots of comments, lots of private comments about it, and it's been good and eye-opening for me to interact and engage in that conversation. I do want to address a couple of things. One person did message me in private to say that first of all, this topic wasn't necessary, and it seems like I'm always talking about it. And nothing could be further from the truth. I waited until almost 60 episodes into this YouTube channel before I even tried to tackle this subject on here. So I don't always talk about it. In fact, I've never talked about it here except to mention people have asked me to talk about it on this channel. Even on the only social media platform I'm on is Facebook, and I don't even talk about it on there. I recently made a video discussing a question that I had posed, and I've been on Facebook since 2012, I think, and this is the first time I'm really addressing this in kind of to this degree. So no, I don't always talk about it, but I do think it's vital, and I certainly never shy away from talking about it. There's quite a lot in the Bible that God has to say about it, about keeping gender separate, and philosophies behind our appearance and what He desires. And so I've even received that message from somebody. There's only one verse that talks about this. That's simply not true. However, I do hope that through these series of 2 episodes that you're having the discussion with the Lord in your own heart. And I do believe modesty is a private decision between you and the Lord, unless you're working for an organization with a dress code. Well, then you got to abide by that. And if you go to a college with a dress code, make sure that you can live with that. If not, go somewhere that you do align with those beliefs. I've never understood a young person plopping down tens of thousands of dollars to go to spend 4 years or more at a university or a college where they don't agree with how they're living or what they're being taught. To me, that is so counterproductive and counterintuitive. So make sure you know and that you agree with the standards that you're going to have to live by for the time that you're there. And if you are old enough to make the decision about where to go, then you're old enough to graduate from that school and then not bash it for the rules that they always had when you agreed to go. And money talks. And so where you have put your tuition money indicates what you believed at the time. And so when you graduate, make sure that you are leaving that school with an education that you agreed with. And I think that's important. But I do want to address a couple of things. We're going to review those questions from part 1, and then just to address another couple of circumstances quickly about this area of modesty and how we teach it and how we address it, because there are 3 different types of people as far as modesty is concerned, and that is those who dress modestly but don't know why, those who were taught to do it and for some time did abide by it in some set of circumstances for some length of time, but they weren't taught why, and so now they no longer hold to that reasoning. And then there is the third group who did it and followed a set of guidelines, at least while they were at a certain location, but were extremely humiliated and now just don't even, the word modesty is such a trigger. And that breaks my heart because it shouldn't be. We all have some degree of modesty, and if you don't, you go to jail. And so there is some level of modesty that you have. And so I don't think that because we may operate on different degrees or different sets of modesty that you don't have any. And so to feel that way is, I know that was caused, that thinking was caused. Modesty is not a bad word. It's not a bad concept. It's a great one. And the Bible says in Philippians 4:5, let your moderation be known unto all men. The Lord is at hand. Does that mean, hey, Bob, over there, let me tell you what my boundaries are? No, it means as you go through life, you got to show people with how you live, and part of that is your appearance, what they think of when they see you coming. That's part of letting your moderation be known, your boundaries be known. And so it's not preaching at somebody, it's just living it. And so it's not a bad thing. It's something that God really desires for us as Christian women. But I want to address specifically one area that I heard taught when I was a young woman. And even as a young woman, I disagreed with this being the only reasoning behind dressing modestly. And that is what we find in Matthew chapter 5. And of course, we know this is the Sermon on the Mount. And Jesus is preaching here. And it's literally second mile Christianity. What he's seeking is for any follower of his, a child of his, to go above and beyond the law of the Old Testament. It's, someone asks you to go a mile with him, go with him 2. If somebody needs give them your shirt, your clothing, give them your coat also, these kinds of things. So it's not that Jesus was saying, all right, every principle is thrown out the window here because I'm here now and I'm ushering in this new thing where you no longer have to think about that. In fact, Jesus referenced the Old Testament because that's what he had and it was important. And so these are additions. These are second mile philosophies. And so, but here in Matthew chapter 5, he's talking in verse 27, he says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. Now, of course, we know that's one of the 10 commandments he's referencing. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now, I've been in certain situations where I have found myself in auditoriums full of young women, teenagers, college-age young women, and even into my young adult years as a young wife and mother. I found myself in circumstances where someone would be teaching on modesty, and their reasoning, the number one reasoning, and many times the only reason that they gave for dressing modestly, was so that you don't cause a man to lust after you. Now, here's the ironic thing, actually several ironic things about that teaching. First of all, I would find myself in these situations with every teenage girl, whether it was at a Christian camp or a conference or something, every teenage girl looks like every other teenage girl. We're all in keeping with rules that were set there, standards that were set there. Christian college, of course, you're all completely covered. and then of course as a Christian adult woman, walking into a circumstance, an auditorium where pretty much everybody is dressed the same way. No teenage boy or adult man or young man, unless they have a real problem, is going to lust after a woman in that room. And I would look around and think, no one in here is dressed provocatively. No one is dressed seductively. We're all covered. And so why is that the number one thing? When Jesus addressed this subject, he said, whosoever looketh on a woman, this is talking about a man, because he says, hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. All of this wickedness and evil that happens inside of this man, it's just that, in him. Now, my husband always says that it's anything can pop in front of your face, in front of a man's face, and we do know they're triggered by what they see. But it's that second look that gets a man in trouble. We taught our son, just look away. Then it's not on you, and it's not on either one of you. But when Jesus gives this circumstance here, he puts the onus on the man. And he doesn't clarify about how a woman is dressed. Now, here's the interesting thing. He makes no clarification, whoever looks on a woman to lust after her, unless she's dressed really loosely, unless she's in a two-piece. He doesn't make those specifications. However, the general principle is for the man to guard himself. Now, when we present that to young women who are modestly dressed and tell them the way you're dressed right now is not even good enough, you've got to be careful that not only, are you responsible for what you have on, you're responsible for what's going on in his mind. Jesus didn't do that. And we're portraying this idea to young women that they have this power, even in completely modest settings. This is it. This is the one thing you don't want to do, is to make a man lust after you. You as a Christian woman, as a modestly dressed Christian woman, you have no control over that. I am not one of these people that, something was said to a woman or something was done to a woman, something awful. Well, how was she dressed? That's not the first thing that crosses my mind. And in teaching with our own daughters, this was not the first thing I brought up. Yes, we are not supposed to be a stumbling block to our brothers or sisters in Christ. But I'm afraid that this principle has been taught in a way that Jesus did not intend. And it certainly is not the first reason to dress modestly. Now, I said in part one, these videos are not designed to convince somebody who doesn't even believe it's a thing to dress modestly. That's between you and the Lord. But if you have made the decision to dress modestly for yourself, do you know why? Do you know why you do it? And I will tell you that if this is your reasoning, your sole reasoning, I don't want to make a man lust after me, it won't be long before your boundaries are no longer in place, because that is not the primary reason. I've received a lot of messages recently about it's not even a thing to please the Lord. Boy, that grieved my heart, because we should want to please the Lord in every area. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart and pretty much everything else be acceptable in thy sight, except my appearance. O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. No, everything, every area. And no, it doesn't make you earn God's love. God can't love you any more than he already does. I'm afraid sometimes women taught this in this way, and that was wrong. God will not love you anymore because you're covered up than when you're not covered up. He gave his son to die for you. But is it a wrong philosophy to stand in front of the mirror before you leave the house and say, God, I want you to be pleased with how I'm leaving the house today? There's only everything right with that. Jesus lived to please his Father. And if we are supposed to be becoming like Christ, which we are, then whatever that looks like for you, it may look different for you than it does for me, but it should be the desire of our heart to please the Lord. Just want to review quickly those questions from last week that Megan Dominguez, as a teenage girl, took these as questions to ask herself about her appearance and her philosophy behind the reason that she looked the way she did. Psalm 139 verse 14, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. One of the subjects we're going to tackle in the next few weeks is truly what it means to be a woman of God. What is that role? That's another trigger word for Christian women. I don't know why, but it has become a trigger word for women. But I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I've always found it interesting that in Genesis, God said, male and female, created he them. And we just understand that's a given. Of course, we know it was Adam and Eve. And then by Deuteronomy, which is a little over 2,000 years later, that he's giving the law to Moses, he says, keep the genders separate. Again, Deuteronomy 22:5. What happened in that length of time? Well, what happened was Satan went on the offensive to blur the genders, because he knew if he could get women to not value their role and what God made for them, an elevated role, and the specialness of it, if he could get us to hate that and not appreciate what God made when he made us, that he could do a lot of damage, and he has done a lot of damage. And so when God says the gender should be separate, I made you male and female, we have a totally twisted idea of what that role is. So we're going to tackle that in the next few weeks, and I'm excited about that. But these questions to ask yourself when you look in the mirror. Number one, does this please the Lord? It is a viable, pertinent question for the Christian woman. Does this please the Lord? Next, does this look like something a man would wear? Does this look masculine? And I'm talking the overall appearance. I have no desire whatsoever to look like my husband. I love it. I love the way he dresses. It's very rugged, masculine. Even his when he's in a suit and tie, he's a pastor. So even when he's in a suit and tie, I like it that he looks very masculine and tailored, and I appreciate that. I like feminine clothes. I want to look like a woman. And so does this look like something a man would wear? Next, does this make me look like I'm trying to hide that I'm a child of God? What you wear will either add to your countenance or detract from your countenance. And every Christian woman's countenance should reflect that she's a child of God. Next, does this make me stand out from the worldly Christian crowd? And of course, this applies mostly in our own church services and church functions. I just want it to be known that I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed for people to know that I'm a child of God, and I don't want to hide that. I don't want to just go with the flow or just be incognito with my Christianity. I want people to know there's something different there. It's different. It's Sunday. It's different. Next, what does the outside of me say about the inside of me? If the inside of me is not for sale, the outside of me should not advertise it. If the inside of me, on the flip side, on the positive, if the inside of me is trying to display peace and joy and love, then the outside of me should reflect that. And I need to really investigate what that means, what the inside of me or what the outside of me says about the inside of me. I want it to be a unifier and a reflector. Now, you may not have the same. We don't all have the same taste, the same style in clothing. I have always been interested in clothing, and I did grow up as a bit of a tomboy, very athletic. I have 2 older brothers, so it was kind of a play sports or be killed kind of atmosphere. But so I did grow up as a little bit of a tomboy, but I've always loved clothes and fashion, always been interested in how it works and colors and all of those things. And so I want to keep investigating that. What does that look like? I'm now in my 50s. That pains me to say that. But what does it look like for me now that I'm in my 50s? And so things change a little bit sometimes, and you have to evolve with that. You have to grow, but you have to keep learning, keep investigating. I don't want any ounce of me ever to say frumpy. I believe that also, maybe in an effort to portray modesty, frumpiness comes into play a little bit in that arena. I don't want any part of that. Again, you may not have the same taste I do in clothing, but I don't want anybody to look at me and say, oh, how frumpy, how dated, how out of touch. I don't think that's a great reflection on Jesus Christ either. And so, anyway, I hope that these 2 parts of modesty, keeping private things private, has been an encourager for you if you believe that you do dress modesty and that is your desire to please the Lord. I hope it's been a strengthener for you. I hope that maybe if you haven't been able to exactly put into words why you do it, I hope that maybe now you can. And I certainly, this is not the end all be all of talks about this. So I hope you'll investigate it on your own and just see what the Lord has to say to you. And you know, the Holy Spirit is our teacher. He can show us things and principles that God has revealed in His Word that will speak to us each in a personal way. That's the great thing about the Bible. It is a living, breathing book that speaks to us when we open it up and investigate. And so I hope you will. And please let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like this kind of content, like, share, subscribe. It lets YouTube know that you want to see more of it, and it does affect the change that we want to see happen. I want to just introduce to you an idea with a piece of clothing, a garment, a type of garment, of something that maybe you haven't thought about, and I mentioned it in last week's video, but I've always enjoyed wearing trench coats, and trench coats are not just outerwear to me. They can become part of an outfit. And so I've had a lot of fun in the last few days with our daughter-in-law, Rebecca, going around our area, finding some cool spots and taking some videos of ways to incorporate that item into your wardrobe. I was wearing a green trench coat the day that my husband asked me for our very first date. And that was on September 23rd, 1990. And I still have that trench coat. It's not in this video. It's worn out and old, but I just can't bring myself to get rid of it. So I still have it. But anyway, I've always loved them. And so the trenches that I show in this video, many of them are at least 10 years old. A couple are over 20 years old. I have one that I just bought very recently. Other than that, they are pretty much all of them several years old. And so I hope you'll just enjoy that video, and I hope it will give you some ideas as of ways that you can style a trench or wear a trench if you don't have one. I love them because they are great in fall, they're great in spring, and they can even carry you through the winter if they are warm enough, or if you can put enough layers on underneath them. And so they're a neat thing. But I would just encourage you, please investigate modesty. I do believe it is a personal decision and something that you work out between you and the Lord, and you listen to the Holy Spirit as He guides you. Modesty does not look the same for everybody. And I do believe that the Lord can speak to your heart and ask you to make a change or to add something, and He may never talk to me about that. And so that's just how it works. It is a very personal thing. But let's get into this video with the trench coats here, because this was a lot of fun. And I know I can hear it right now. Oh my goodness, this is so superficial, superfluous. But I think that most women enjoy looking pretty and finding new ways to do things. And they like looking at beautiful things. And so this is just an avenue. This is just one way to enhance your wardrobe if it's something that you find interesting. And so here we go. We're going to start with the first one is a black and white trench. And actually, I'm just looking at this list. I have 18 separate trenches to show you, and some of those have multiple stylings. So we're just going to go through these and hopefully won't take too long. But the first one was a black and white checked trench coat, and I am styling it with a red dress underneath and I don't know how well you'll be able to see it in the video, but a chunky black chain necklace that my husband bought me for Christmas. In the first showing, I have it with just the normal trench belt on and a pair of black boots. But also, and this is a very fun thing that I like to do with trench coats or even winter coats if they're thin enough, but I like to remove the belt that came with the trench and add a different belt, and it just changes up the whole look of it. So with this black and white trench, I have a leopard print belt and a pair of leopard print flats, and this is something I would wear if I was going to go run some errands or maybe have a dentist appointment or something like that. But I would wear that. And so here you can see two different stylings of this trench, which is one of my favorites. I love this black and white trench. Next, a yellow floral trench. Now, floral trenches are not always something you can wear every year. Sometimes they can look a little dated. It just depends. But this one I've had for probably, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years, I'm thinking. And right now, floral trenches are they have just come in heavy for the spring. And so I love this one. And so this is one of those coats that I just put away for, maybe a couple of seasons until floral prints come back. And of course, floral is always in spring, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's more obvious or more relevant than other years. So this one I have styled with a yellow dress underneath and a pair of yellow espadrilles. And so I love wearing this. Also, if you look at the way this trench is tied, the belt on this is tied, it's just a little bit of a different kind of loop. And I love to style them this way. And I'm going to show you how to do that later on. Probably all of you know that already, but I'm going to show you how to tie it later on with another coat. Next, I have a green and white houndstooth trench. And this one might be my favorite because my favorite color is green. But this one I have styled just with a green blouse and and black skirt and boots on the bottom and a crossbody. And this is one way to incorporate your trench to make it look like more of an outfit, like it's part of your outfit and not just this is a coat I threw on. So styling it with the similar color or the same color blouse underneath helps to do that. Next, I have a hot pink trench, and this one again, extremely old. This trench is probably 15 years old, and even when I got it 15 years ago or more, I bought this one at the thrift store. And so I think I probably paid somewhere around $5 for this trench, but I love it. It's one of those that I just look forward to bringing out every year. And in this particular styling, I have on all gray underneath. I actually have a gray leopard print or cheetah print dress underneath, animal print, and I have a pair of gray boots on with it. And also with this dress, it's easy to make the coat look like part of your outfit because I have folded the cuffs up over the bottom of the sleeve of the coat. And so it looks like it's part of the outfit. And also another thing that you can do with trenches, especially if you have a belt already on your dress, but you don't want to take the belt off the trench because the belt loops will be exposed, you can tuck that sash, the belt from the trench, into your pockets. Next, I have a black trench, and this is one of my oldest trenches. I got this one just after our youngest daughter Amanda was born, and I have this styled with a black and white dress underneath, and the dress has a bow up top, and so that peeks out a little bit and then peeks out again from the bottom. And I have this styled with black boots also. Now this is the coat where I'm going to show the video of how to style or how to tie the sash, the belt, and it's very easy. Just looping one of the sides longer than the other, and then make a loop and tie it around, pull it tight, and then you have it tied. And it's a little bit more interesting than just a square knot. It's a loop, and it looks pretty cool. The next trench is a mauve colored trench, and it actually has a houndstooth print. I think you can see that from the pictures, but with this one, I have styled it 3 ways. There's the video there with just the regular dress on, the trench coat over. And then one thing I love to do is if you have a dress that has a matching belt or sash, you can tie that sash around the trench coat. And it looks like, because then you can see a little portion of it sticking out on the top and the bottom, and then you have that print around your waist. It's a very cohesive look and a lot of fun to wear. You just need to make sure you're wearing that somewhere where you're not going to remove your coat, or you're not going to want to remove your coat. So anything like an outdoor event when it's a little chilly outside, or just anything that you're not going to want to take that coat off. Or if you do, just be prepared to retie the sash around your dress. Also, I have this one styled with a hat and a skirt later, and later on in the day I had it with a skirt and a pair of pink suede shoes. Now, I don't think you can see too well from the picture, but I also have on a mauve blouse underneath the coat, so it looks like a very cohesive part of the outfit. The next trench is also one of the ones that I put away some years, and then some years I bring it back out because I love it. But it's a floral trench with bright blooms. And this year it just happens to be very in, especially with the sleeves. It kind of has a little bit of a blouson sleeve, and so I love to bring it out. And here I just have it styled with I have a green sheath dress underneath, and a crossbody bag, and just, you know, it can be ready to go day to night. It's a fun look, and I love this trench. The next one is a pink pastel trench, and I'm going to show what it would look like if I just wore it with a pair of sneakers just to run around. But also, there's a great way to dress up a trench if you wear it with a maxi. And also, one of the things I love to do, as I already mentioned, taking a belt and tying it around the trench. So here I have a pink belt with a gold buckle, and it matches the gold on the buttons of the trench. And also, here's a great hack if you want to wear your sleeves sort of pushed up and they won't stay up. If you will take an elastic, and here I'm showing you with black because I wanted it to be evident what I did. But if you take a black elastic hair tie and you put it up around above your elbow, the area above your elbow, and push the sleeve up, it will hold it, and it will hold it in place. And it's just kind of a different look. You pull it up there, push it there, and then make sure you have enough of the sleeve so that you can sort of blouse it over the elastic band. And it's just kind of another neat way to wear it. I do watch fashion shows for the next seasons. I don't know how many of you like to do that. I like to do that just so I can figure out what's coming and what I can adapt in my wardrobe to that. So all kinds of coats and florals for spring with spring 2021, with fashion shows that have come and what they're showing or what they showed already, because they already happened, and it's neat to see what you can adapt, what you can take. I mean, of course, a lot of it is crazy or unadaptable, but some of it, I do enjoy looking. Okay, I like that look. What do I have in my closet that I can replicate that with? Next, now this video is my absolute favorite way to dress. I love dressing in a monochromatic way, all one color or tones of the same color. My great grandmother she was a clothes horse, and she used to say to my mom all the time, I only had the pleasure of meeting her once, but she used to tell my mom, dress in all one color. If you must wear two, okay, but wearing any more than three, you just look crazy. Now, I do try to follow that in a lot of my clothing, just because I like the way all one color looks. It's just a preference, not anything right or wrong. But here I have a cream, it's almost like a suede feel trench coat, but it's a light fabric. And a cream dress underneath, the same dress, cream boots, cream handbag. And then I also styled it with a brown belt underneath and a pair of brown snakeskin boots. And that's a great way to wear it. And then a third option, with keeping with this kind of monochromatic look and not varying too much, but with a scarf tied around and then secured with the belt. Again, this would be something you'd want to wear where you don't have to change out of your trench, but you could keep it on and be comfortable, and so that's a great look too. All right, the next one I have here is a floral trench with another green dress underneath. You can see I love the color green. This one's a little different. This floral print is a little bit more demure, a little bit more muted. And so I have an army green dress underneath, a pair of cream boots, and again, rolling the cuff up of the green dress over the cuff of the trench. And it just makes it look a little cohesive, just kind of a cool, different look. This trench has no belt loops. And so just kind of wearing it open, it almost gives the appearance of like a long blazer, which is kind of a cool option. All right, next I have a pink trench with the flowers embroidered on it. And underneath I have a green lace dress. And this is just an option if you're going out for an evening and the weather is getting a little bit, here in the Northeast, we still have a lot of cool mornings and cool nights, and even some days. Today it's a beautiful day, but we still have a lot of cool temps, early morning or late at night. So if you're going out for an evening, just put the coat around your shoulders. Lots of women do that and have done that. Lots of well-dressed women. And it's a great look. I mean, whatever you think of Melania Trump as our first lady, she nailed the over-the-shoulder outerwear look. And so anyway, I think this is just a neat look to put into your wardrobe. All right, next I have a red trench with black accessories, and with this one I took off the red belt that came with the trench and put on a wide belt, a wide black belt that I have. And it does, it's slimming when you wear a dark belt like that, even over the top of a coat, but also it just makes a very cohesive line as part of your outfit. The black and red dress underneath really pops with the red coat and black belt. All right, next, I have a cream and black trench. Again, this is a trench that has no belt loops. And so what you can do underneath is be able to play a little bit with what you have on, and still have it look like part of your outfit. So first I have on a cream dress with black bow and black accents, black squares in the print, and just a pair of black heels, a black belt with a pearl buckle. And then next I'm showing a more casual look with this, with a hat, sunglasses, a short sleeved sweater with Peter Pan collar, and a black and cream print skirt and black boots. And it gives it a little bit of a more casual feel with that styling. Next, okay, I've had a lot of questions about what do you wear when you travel. So I will tell you, I have a black dress, which is what I'm wearing here, and I have this exact same dress in navy. These dresses don't wrinkle, they are so comfortable, they're a great fabric, they're a great fit, a comfortable fit. It's not a lot of pulling and tugging, and you just put it on and go. So I have one of those in each of those colors, and if I'm going to hop on a plane, these dresses are my go-to. In the winter, I will travel in I have a black sweater dress or a gray sweater dress, but other times of the year, I always get cold on planes, so these have a little sleeve. They're just the perfect dress to travel in. But if you're going somewhere and again, it's one of those cooler times, you may be tempted to wear a blazer, which is what I do a lot of the time. But I want to show you that you can substitute a trench for that blazer. If you're going to wear a blazer, have a scarf on, consider a trench. Now I have this tan trench that I take a lot with me because it's just a great neutral, and it's good fabric. But you can do the same thing. You can throw on this trench, throw on a scarf, add an extra layer of warmth, and you're good to go with traveling. You just can't go wrong with that combination. All right, next I have a yellow trench. Now, Pantone's color of the year is actually this year 2 colors, and it's yellow and gray together. But I have first styled this yellow trench with a yellow print dress underneath, and once again I've taken off the belt from the trench and added the dress belt, and I think it's just a lovely look for a spring day. You carry a little basket purse and you are good to go, and it's just a great look. But if I wanted to do something with this, still being a little bit dressy, but incorporating that look of the yellow and gray, I have it paired with a gray blouse underneath and a gray, almost pewter pleated skirt. And then you add the gray belt, and it ties everything all together. And what a great way to implement those colors. I don't always follow those Pantone's colors of the year, but I think it's fun to investigate it and see what you already have that could easily be adaptable to display that. I think clothes and fashion are fun, and so yeah, I investigate all those things and see what I can do to make it work for me. Next, and we are nearing the end, believe it or not. So next I have this was so exciting. I love matching dresses and coats. And as you can see, I have a great trench coat collection, and I don't always add to that every year. In fact, it's been several years since I've added one, but this year I added one, and I got this dress on sale for $9.99 at Ann Taylor, and the matching trench I got for $24.99. And so I could not leave them there in the store. They had to come home with me. And I love this trench, and I love the print. It's a beautiful color, and it's something I would actually wear 3 seasons, because I would wear this obviously in the spring and the fall, but if it's a little bit of a warmer day in the winter, I would throw it on with a pair of cream boots, and I would 100% wear this. And
I love the look of it. Throughout history, we've seen a lot of women wearing matching coats with their dresses and having them made to match. Of course, I love the fashion of Jackie O, who did that on a regular basis, Audrey Hepburn. But even now, you'll find modern day Amal Clooney, Condoleezza Rice has been known to match her dress with her coat, and of course Kate Middleton, who is such a style icon. These kinds of looks never go out. They never do. They are just classic. And if you can add the classic pieces to your wardrobe, you will find yourself not getting dated so quickly. You won't feel like, oh, I can't wear that anymore. As I've said already, some of these trenches I've had for going on 20 years, a couple of them longer. And when you have a good quality item, it's just almost limitless what you can do with them, because you can wear them so often through the years. You definitely get your money's worth for investing in pieces like this. So I love that that matching, and the runway picture, that floral dress and matching coat. That's very in right now. So if you can find something like that, where it actually will look like this is a complete outfit, it's even better. Next, this mint green trench has been in my life for probably 15 years, maybe even a little bit longer. I don't know. But because I love green, I just love this one. And a few years ago, I found this mint green sheath to wear underneath it. And I had the shoes already, and it just it made my day when I found that all of that went together. And I think those monochromatic stylings are timeless, and I love how it just elevates your look when you take the time to match the tones. It just screams elegance to me. That may not be your style. You may like to wear different colors top to bottom, and that's fine. I love the look of a monochromatic style. Last, this is a tan trench. It's another one of those that are kind of for more chillier days. It's a suede trench and suede feel. And here I have paired it, again, one of those over the shoulder looks with a dress of the same tone, a floral dress. And I just felt like $1,000,000 this is the first time I've paired these two together, and I love the way it looks. I love the way I felt in it, and it was just a wonderful pairing with the two of those together. And I will be wearing this again many times. I just threw a little bag around my wrist and had a lot of fun with that. And so anyway, that's all 18 of the trenches, and some of those with multiple stylings. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as we enjoyed making it. And I want to thank my daughter-in-law, Rebecca, who worked so hard on this, taking all of the videos and pictures for me, and then doing such a great job editing this wonderful video. And she did a wonderful job. I don't mean the video is wonderful, I'm in it, but her doing it was wonderful, and I appreciate that. And I want to thank you all for watching. I have enjoyed every moment of interaction that I have had with you over the last video about the introduction, part 1, to modesty, keeping private things private. And I know I anticipate looking forward to more interaction over the first part of this video, which was my effort to try and right some wrongs, not perfectly by any stretch, but trying to bring some healing in this area. I do think as Christian women, we need to shoot for modesty, to whatever degree we work it out between us and the Lord, that we seek to please Him, that when we get ready for the day and we look at ourselves in that mirror, we can walk away from it knowing He's pleased. He's pleased with my outside. He's pleased with my inside. Inside most of all. But I want to thank you again for watching. And please comment below if one of these trenches stuck out to you, if you liked a look. If you've done something like this, I would love for you to drop a picture in the comments below. And I think it's, I just love talking about it. If you feel this is a little bit of a superficial topic, well, just keep on, keep on scrolling. But I know most women are like me and love to investigate this kind of thing and just see what the possibilities are. And so I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Full Recovery. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.